So before we came on the air, I saw that BYU's a 16.5-point favorite against Southern Illinois. Does that feel too high, too low?
No, it actually feels about right. And people are going 16.5. Shouldn't they beat them by 4 touchdowns? Remember, this is a nationally ranked FCS opponent. This isn't a team that is not accomplished and doesn't know how to win. And so they're going to have some skilled players. BYU, my opinion, will wear them down and pull away at the end. So I think 16.5 is fair. If I'm setting the line, I would set it like 20.
20?
I think 20.
I think it opened at 18.5 and then went down to 16.5. Yeah. There's a lot of folks, let's be honest, as you look at the outside expectations for BYU football, there's a lot of folks that don't expect the quarterback spot to work. They don't expect BYU to win more than 4 games.
Right.
And
a lot of doubters.
A lot of doubters. And so now the Cougars are in an interesting spot as we sit on this Monday. There's 2 weeks to go before the opener. So Wednesday, they turn the page and totally focus on the Salukis. Is that right?
Yeah.
So what happens this week?
So there's still, this is still an extension of camp. And Wednesday is really the last day of camp. They'll do a little bit this week as part of camp, a couple of things to simulate some of Southern Illinois things. And this is the beginning of this week. You can do some SMU things. So you can mix in a few things as part of fall camp for your first 3 games, really. Then Thursday, so once you get Wednesday behind you, Thursday becomes, in essence, game week for BYU. It's an extended game week. Thursday becomes, now the singular focus is on Southern Illinois. What do they do? You run prep teams where they run everything Southern Illinois does. You get scouting reports out. You start doing individual scouts, all of that, and you solidify those. By Thursday, they need to have the rosters and the depth charts for BYU solidified. This is who we're going with in this first game, so let's prepare you as a 1, let's prepare you as a 2. This is what the rotations are going to look like. So everything makes a major shift Thursday to general, jobs still on the line. Like I said, you could even, like today, you could do a little SMU stuff. You could do a little Wyoming stuff today. But on Thursday, it becomes the end of fall camp, and it's game week, and that's how it rolls.
I'm listening to you closely, and what I thought I heard was on Thursday, BYU will have their starting quarterback, because on Thursday you are in complete, if not between now and then, on Thursday at least you are in Saluki game prep mode. You have to have your starter.
If you don't have your starter by Thursday, something's messed up. Yes. Yeah. Thursday is the start of game week. Yes, you have your starter by Thursday. So we'll have a starter this week. I wouldn't be surprised if they announce it, Tuesday or Wednesday. We
were on Sports Nation this morning. The two of us were hosting for the first time in a long time, and we had a good time. And we talked about a fact or fiction. The fact that was Gary Bohannon will be the starter on August 31st. And in our opinions, we both went yes, that Gary Bohannon will be that starter. We'll ask Austin Collie, we'll ask Isaiah Kafusi. There's a lot of people who think that because Jake was in the system last year, he should be the starter.
And we pointed out on the show that was just our opinion.
Yeah. We give our opinion on this show all the time.
We said why. Like, are we going to be flabbergasted if Jake in today and tomorrow throws lights out and they just go, okay, we've changed our mind? The fact that it's been this close and it's kind of been up and down and there's very little separation, I think Aaron Roderick would have loved to have somebody come out and be completely flawless and never turn the ball over and run the offense with efficiency. That last week he could have said, hey, it's really, really obvious it's Gary, or it's really obvious that it's Jake. But it hasn't been. And so my rationale on our show this morning was, if they're dead even still, then maybe you go with a guy that is 225, 230 pounds and can run around like a crazy man and create plays with his legs and move the chains on 3rd and 4 by running the ball and all of that stuff, because that's just an extra dimension, right, if there's no separation. But that doesn't say Jake can't come out today, tomorrow, and Wednesday and completely ball out and they don't go, that's the guy we've been waiting to show up all fall camp. He was flawless. He was clearly better, and that's who we're going to go with. Yeah, that could happen. So you and I said Gary. Yeah. Because there's been no separation. And if there continues to be no separation, then maybe you just go with the athlete, right? And that's not to say that Jake's not a good athlete.
No.
Gary's just a crazy, freakish athlete.
What's been interesting is injuries, knock on your wood table over there.
I hope people could hear that.
Yeah, I could hear it. That's not been a thing. It has not been a thing with a starter. It's not been a thing with people in camp.
Right.
That's good.
It's very good.
Last year, when you consider how many people went down in camp, it was crazy.
And there's a couple of guys that had to have minor surgery and some things done during the summer or during the off season. A couple of guys that were coming back from significant injuries where the timeline was not certain, where they were saying, maybe it might be not game 1, it might be game 2 or even game 3, because they have to do all of this testing and the normal protocol would be this long. But we know that a couple of guys, including LJ Martin, got cleared.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
And he's been the real question mark.
So Glenn says it's 8 a.m. there.
Okay.
So they're a little, I think it's 10 a.m. in Japan.
Enjoy breakfast.
So thanks for joining us at 8 a.m., Glenn. So there was some talk that LJ, to get completely healthy, that he may not play till, is it week 2? Is it week 3? Could be week 4. And he's going, no, I'm playing in week 1. Now, the coaches may go, we know you're 100% healthy and you're cleared and you've been taking some contact. We just want to rest you for one more game. If I'm them, though, I want to put him out there against Southern Illinois, because SMU is a formidable opponent, and I want him to have some reps under his belt of running with live defenders coming at him to see how he goes before I get on the road and go down and play SMU. So I would play him.
It's interesting because you really want to find that out with all the running backs.
Yeah.
Hinckley Rapati hasn't played since the New Mexico Bowl?
Right, and he was phenomenal the last time he played. But
and then Miles Davis is back healthy.
And Demooney was held out for a lot, Raider Demooney, and so we haven't seen a lot of him. He just got cleared. So some of these guys that we were hopeful would be cleared, the pieces are falling in place for them to be ready to go in game 1, which is really cool.
By the way, our player profiles will continue tomorrow on After Further Review, 5 o'clock Mountain Time on the BYU TV app, which is free. You can watch it on your phone, your laptop, your TV. We're going to continue our player profiles, and including Keanu Hill's transition from receiver to tight end. We'll ask Austin Colley what he thinks about that as well. But with David Nixon and you and me together tomorrow night, we'll take a look at what Keanu does best and how that might transition over to a great tight end, a productive tight end.
Right. And we'll ask Austin Colley about how that helps BYU's offense by moving him down and the mismatches he might create. So, hey, don't forget about BYUSN Game Day. Our 2-hour season premiere is August 31st, 4 p.m. Mountain Time. So it's 2 hours before the game. Kick is at 6 p.m. Mountain. That's on BYU TV and ESPN+. We'll get you ready to go. 2 hours of content talking about the matchup, about this year's teams. Southern Illinois at 6 p.m. on ESPN+. Game Day at 4. Don't miss it on BYU TV.
You know what
ESPN+.
I love about that show, especially on opening night, and we'll have the Cougar Walk and all that stuff, and the pomp and circumstance. But I just love the excitement of it's finally here. It'll probably be warm because it'll be 4 in the afternoon. I mean, it's a 6 o'clock local start, 8 Eastern time.
They better have those fans going.
You better have the fans going. But there's just something about it's back. And even though it's August 31st, it doesn't matter. The football's back, and the time of year that we love is great. And the team takes the field, the fireworks go off. But there is so much anticipation of, hey, fans watched the team lose 5 straight games to end last season. It's been a long time since they tasted a victory. The place is going to be full. Audience is going to be from all over the world wanting to see what's been fixed.
What's this version look like?
Yeah.
And are they going to be better than everybody's predicting? And hey, have you seen McMurphy's picks, Brett McMurphy?
Yeah, so he came out with his bowl picks. Now, Brett McMurphy writes for The Athletic, and he's on with us on BYU Sports Nation all the time. Friend of the program.
Right.
And so, we like his opinion. He's a smart guy.
He's usually a respecter of BYU.
So he comes out with his bowl predictions today. And he doesn't have BYU in the field.
Right.
There's a million bowls, and he doesn't have BYU bowl eligible. But I thought it was interesting, as I was flipping through it, I'm like, okay, they play them. And I go, wait a second, I'm going to count.
Including Southern Illinois, by the way.
Including Southern Illinois, who's an FCS, who's going to go to the playoffs.
They'll be in the postseason. Yeah, they're ranked.
But as far as the Division I, 11 Division I opponents, he's got 10 of BYU's 11 D1 opponents going to the postseason, including Wyoming and SMU, and everybody but Arizona State. And as I was sitting there going, is the schedule that tough? and he's got everybody that is going to go to the postseason that's playing BYU.
Well, think about it. BYU has 5 preseason ranked teams on the schedule. So, but the thing that people are not taking into account, and we talked about it on Sports Nation today, is 4 of those teams are at BYU's place. 4 teams that are ranked, and they're not ranked in the top 10. They're all in the second 15. Come to Provo. You don't think BYU can get a couple of those? I think they're going to get at least.
They will.
I think they're going to get at least 2 wins against those 4 ranked opponents that come in, and maybe 3, but at least 2.
Yeah.
And if you go out and get a good start here, start 3-0, you get a couple there. Certainly, there's some other games late in the season. You like the finish to the season.
Well, I like.
You think they'll go on a 3-game win streak to end the season?
They could, because they've got Kansas at home, Arizona State on the road, and Houston at home. I mean, there's a chance to open with 3 and close with 3.
Right. And Arizona State's picked at the bottom of the league.
Yeah.
Houston's got to come to Provo. They're not going to win that game. They're in a reload kind of a thing going. And Kansas is one of those 5 ranked teams coming in the preseason.
Yeah.
But late in the season, at elevation, could be bad weather, which is good for BYU, and the Rock will be rocking.
And who knows? Who knows?
These guys that play linebacker, they have to know what every level of the defense is doing. They have to know what's going on behind them in the secondary and how the coverage and how they fit into the coverage. They have to know the run fits and what that D-line needs to do so that they know where they're supposed to go. So when you get linebackers, they're very knowledgeable about the entire defensive scheme, and we're going to tap into Isaiah's brain about that as we move forward and he joins us.
Yeah, and our crew will have David Nixon, Isaiah Kafusi, Austin Cawley, Brian Logan, you and me. Some of those guys will be interchangeable a little bit as they're dealing with their Little League football schedules.
They're all in a different phase
coaches.
of life than us because they're all coaching their. Well, Austin was saying I think he's got a 12-year-old and a 13-year-old, or 12 and 14. So
we've been doing it for like 34 years.
They're in
together.
a busy time of life, so we'll
hold
through.
It down, and then Spencer Linton, of course, is part of our crew, and we look forward to game day, the season premiere, a week from Saturday.
Like our next show is game week on this show.
Yeah,
next Wise
We're
Guys
talking
is
about
game
Saturday's
week.
game.
I love it.
That's cool. By the way, next week, Gary Scheide and Larry Carr are going to join us. BYU is going to celebrate the 50th anniversary of their bowl team, the first bowl team, 1974.
Yeah,
went to the Fiesta Bowl. So Gary they'll both be here in studio, and we'll talk about that momentous occasion. On September 2nd, Brandon Doman will be here. Taggart Barron, the president of BYU alumni in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Did you just meet Taggart?
Yeah, met him at Aspen Grove. I think it looks familiar. I went down and shook his hand. We hadn't met before, I don't think. And anyway, he said, "I'm the head of the alumni for the Dallas-Fort Worth area." I go, well, we're going to have you on our show.
As
soon as I said Wise Guys, he said, "I'm in." So, awesome. And then Derwin Gray is going to join us on September 9th, and he'll break down the SMU game. Brandon will be here to break down the Southern Illinois game, and we'll just march into the season with some of the great minds in BYU football history.